In this video, I'll be explaining about Krebs cycle. Before starting about the cycle itself, let's first see what is this Krebs cycle, where does this occur, what are the reasons of the Krebs cycle, what is the products of the Krebs cycle, what is the substrate for the Krebs cycle. Various questions are there which are related with the Krebs cycle. So before saying the actual cycle, I'll be explaining these few questions to you. So let's first see the Krebs cycle's site, means where does this Krebs cycle occurs. So Krebs cycle in case of prokaryotes. In case of prokaryotes, this Krebs cycle occurs within the cytoplasm. Now, in my previous video of glycolysis, I told you that the glycolysis in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes will occur within the cytoplasm. But remember here, in the case of Krebs cycle, the prokaryotes will have it in the cytoplasm, but in case of eukaryotes, this Krebs cycle will occur within the mitochondrial matrix. It will occur within mitochondrial matrix. Mitochondrial matrix. Mitochondrial matrix means the inner space within the mitochondria. I'll draw this mitochondria over here. So this is one mitochondria we have, and this inner space is known as matrix of mitochondria. Now, this matrix of mitochondria in eukaryotes and the cytoplasm of the prokaryotes will have all the enzymes required for the Krebs cycle. Remember, in general, if the question asks what is the location of the enzymes for Krebs cycle in eukaryotes, it is mitochondrial matrix. But there is one specific enzyme we'll see, that is succinic dehydrogenase. The name of the enzyme is succinic dehydrogenase. This is the only enzyme which is present in the inner mitochondrial membrane. Clear? All the enzymes except succinic dehydrogenase will be present within the matrix of the mitochondria, but this enzyme will be present in the inner mitochondrial membrane. Next point, what is the substrate for the Krebs cycle? So the Krebs cycle starts when acetyl coenzyme A is accepted by oxaloacetic acid. This acetyl coenzyme A is formed by the link reaction. So before starting the Krebs cycle, I'll definitely tell what is link reaction, and I'll connect the three portions. I'll connect glycolysis, link reaction and Krebs cycle together. Then we have what is the use of Krebs cycle. So remember, by this Krebs cycle we get ATP, means oxidation occurs and the assimilatory powers are produced. So now let's see what is this Krebs cycle actually is. So from glycolysis which was occurring within the cytoplasm, what did we get? From glycolysis we get pyruvic acid, right? Now this pyruvic acid, from now to explain the Krebs cycle, I'll take the example of a eukaryotic cell. So remember, we have the mitochondria, also we have glycolysis in the cytoplasm. Once the pyruvic acid is formed within the cytoplasm, this pyruvic acid will now enter into the mitochondria. Where it will enter? Enter in mitochondria. Now, once pyruvic acid enters the mitochondria, now it will go for the Second part, that is link reaction. This pyruvic acid in mitochondria will convert into acetyl coenzyme A. How? I'll show you. Pyruvic acid converts into acetyl coenzyme A. Now, for this conversion, we need certain enzyme complex that is known as pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. So the name of the complex of enzyme is pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. In this complex, we have coenzyme A. So I'll change the color. Coenzyme A we have, which is used in this reaction. Then we have this NAD. NAD, which converts into NADH2. And we have the magnesium ions. And apart from this, we have lipoic acid. Now, this is all what we get in this reaction. This reaction is known as link reaction or gateway reaction. Reason, because it links the glycolysis and Krebs cycle, the reaction within cytoplasm and in the mitochondria. Now, we get the molecules of CO2 in this link reaction. So, we get one molecule from one pyruvic acid, one CO2. So, in this reaction, remember both dehydrogenation and decarboxylation. Decarboxylation means removal of hydrogen, dehydrogenation and removal of carbon dioxide. Decarboxylation is done in the link reaction. Now, this pyruvic acid was a 3-carbon compound, and now we get a 2-carbon compound because 1 carbon is lost in the form of CO2. This acetyl coenzyme A will now go for Krebs cycle. Okay, now before proceeding towards Krebs cycle, let me tell you the number of ATPs also formed by this pyruvic acid. So there is no gain of ATPs directly over here, but by the use of NADH2 in the ETS part, we get from one pyruvic acid, we get 3 ATP. So if we have to talk about one glucose molecule, it means how many pyruvic acids? 2 pyruvic acids, and from 2 pyruvic acids we'll get 6 ATP. So remember, through glycolysis we get through link reaction we get 6 ATP, and these ATPs are known to be produced by oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation means by ETS, there is no direct gain of ATP here in the link reaction. Now let's move towards the Krebs cycle. So we have this acetyl coenzyme A here, acetyl coenzyme A in the mitochondrial matrix, and this oxaloacetic acid. Oxaloacetic acid is a 4-carbon compound, whereas acetyl coenzyme A, as I told you, it is a 2-carbon compound. Now, this oxaloacetic acid will get this acetyl coenzyme A and will convert into citrate or citric acid. This citric acid is composed of 6 carbons, 2 carbons from acetyl coenzyme A and 4 carbons from oxaloacetic acid. Citric acid is known as tricarboxylic acids, TCA, tricarboxylic acids. The citrate will further convert into cis-aconitate. And this conversion is done in the presence of enzyme aconitase. You need to learn all the enzymes, the reactions, the cofactors used. So here it is using iron, that is Fe+2 as cofactor. The cis-aconitate is also a 6-carbon compound. Now the cis-aconitate will now convert into isocitrate. This conversion is also done with the help of the same enzyme, that is aconitase, in the presence of cofactor Fe+2. Aconitase in the presence of cofactor Fe+2. Okay, now this isocitrate is also a 6-carbon compound, and now it will convert into another compound that is known as oxalosuccinate. Oxalosuccinate is formed from isocitrate in the presence of the enzyme isocitrate dehydrogenase. Dehydrogenase means hydrogens are removed, and who will be there to get the hydrogen? Yes, NAD will be there to get the hydrogens, and NAD will convert into NADH2. Remember, in the respiration chapter, in the Krebs cycle or in the glycolysis, we do not talk about NADPH2 or NADP. We have NAD and NADH2. This oxalosuccinate is also a 6-carbon compound. Oxalosuccinate will now convert into alpha ketoglutarate. It will convert into alpha ketoglutarate. And this conversion will be done in the presence of enzyme decarboxylase. The enzyme is decarboxylase. And the cofactor is manganese ions Mn+2. Now, here decarboxylation is taking place, means what is being produced over here? Yes, CO2 is produced, or CO2 is released over here. Okay, so now if one CO2 molecule is released from one 6-carbon molecule, then how many carbon molecule do we get? We get 5-carbon molecule, that is alpha ketoglutarate. This alpha ketoglutarate is now going to get converted into succinyl coenzyme A. Succinyl coenzyme A. And this conversion is done in the presence of an enzyme which is quite similar to pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. So here we have this dehydrogenase complex. And here what is being formed? Here we get the molecule of NADH2. So NAD converts into NADH2. And here again the decarboxylation takes place. Means CO2 is released. This reaction is quite similar to Link reaction. This CO2 is released, it means what? The 5-carbon compound will be now converted into a 4-carbon compound, right? So remember, in the complete Krebs cycle, we have only one 5-carbon compound, that is alpha ketoglutarate. Other than that, either the compounds are having 6 carbons or they are having 4 carbons. This succinyl coenzyme A will now convert into succinic acid, also known as succinate. Succinic acid. And this conversion leads to the generation of one GDP molecule. Means here, this GDP, guanosine diphosphate, converts into GTP. And since the energies of GTP and ATP are quite similar, this GTP will convert into ATP or will be counted into one ATP. So when we are counting the ATPs, we'll consider one GTP as one ATP. Further, this 4-carbon succinic acid will now convert into next compound, that is fumaric acid. Fumaric acid. This conversion is done in the presence of the enzyme which is present in the inner mitochondrial membrane, that is succinic dehydrogenase. Succinic dehydrogenase. And it leads to the production of one molecule of FADH2. So from FAD, what do we get? We get one FADH2. Clear? This fumaric acid will now convert into malate or malic acid. Malic acid. And this conversion is done in the presence of enzyme fumarase. Malic acid will again convert into oxaloacetic acid. And this conversion is done by the enzyme dehydrogenase. And from this dehydrogenation, we get the molecules of NADH2. NADH2 from NAD. Clear? So this is the complete Krebs cycle. Again, the oxaloacetic acid will be there to receive another acetyl coenzyme A. Now, some calculation part is there for us, which I'm going to explain here itself. So I'll change the color so that you can easily recognize which part I'm talking about. So from one glucose molecule, we get 2 pyruvic acids. From 2 pyruvic acids, we are going to get 2 molecules of acetyl coenzyme A, right? Now, from 2 acetyl coenzyme A, how many Krebs cycles do we need? 1 acetyl coenzyme A, 1 Krebs cycle. So for 2 acetyl coenzyme A, we'll need 2 Krebs cycle. So this is one point you need to remember. For 1 glucose, 2 Krebs cycle. For 1 pyruvic acid or 1 acetyl coenzyme A, 1 Krebs cycle is there. Clear? Now, if we talk about the calculations from 1 Krebs cycle, we'll get the results like this. Total ATP produced by substrate level phosphorylation by SLP. ATP produced by SLP. In 1 Krebs cycle we are talking about, so I'll put the heading also. For 1 Krebs cycle, substrate level phosphorylation means direct gain of ATP is there, that is 1. And by oxidative phosphorylation. For oxidative phosphorylation means we need to count NADH2 and FADH2. So let's see where NADH2 and FADH2 are produced. 1 NADH2, 2 NADH2, 3 NADH2. So we get 3 NADH2 and we get 1 FADH2. Right? Remember, here what happens? Here removal of hydrogen happens and NADH2 and FADH2 occurs, means at these positions the oxidation occurs and now the ATPs will be calculated. From 1 NADH2 we get 3 ATPs. So from 3 NADH2 we will get 9 ATPs. This is oxidative level of phosphorylation. 1 FADH2 gives us 2 ATPs. So this is the complete ATP gain from one Krebs cycle. Now, if we have to calculate for two Krebs cycles, it will be very simple. For two Krebs cycle, we get how many ATPs from SLP? From SLP, we get 1 into 2, that is 2 ATP. And by oxidative phosphorylation, how many ATPs we'll get? Here we were getting 11. So here we'll get 11 into 2. That is 22 ATPs will be gained. Now, remember one point. In Krebs cycle, 2 CO2 molecules are released. In one Krebs cycle, 2 CO2 molecules are released. There is no use of oxygen in link reaction or Krebs cycle. No oxygen is used over here. So this is the complete Krebs cycle you need to keep in mind, and the calculations required which you need to keep in mind. Please like the video and subscribe the channel if you haven't yet. Share with your friends so that they can also learn this Krebs cycle along with the calculations of ATP, NADH2, FADH2, etc.